Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Today, in just one moment, I'll be looking at the Champions League quarterfinals and I'll be giving my predictions on who's going to make it to the semi-final and who's going to be making it to the final now that the sort of semi-finals have been set as well. And now, just to give you an update on the trim, last week, if you watched my video, you'll see that it's not in a good place at all. It's been 4 months since I actually got it last cut. It's not in a good way. And here goes a quick reveal before you see the rest of the video. Bam, there it goes. It's not good at all. Too many curls going on. It really needs to get sorted out. But soon enough in these videos, you'll be able to see a fresh cut, a fresh fire trim from your boy. But yeah, with that, let's get straight into the video. And just before we get into the video, guys, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe as always. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. As a football fan in general, I know that a lot of people are going to disagree, and there's going to be a lot of controversy about what I'm about to say in terms of my opinions on who's going to get to the final and who's going to potentially win the Champions League. So make sure you watch until the very end to see who I think is going to win the Champions League. Now, firstly, I'm going to be looking at Chelsea against Porto. Now, I think a lot of people, when this tie was made, was thinking, oh yeah, Chelsea will easily walk this. But everyone said that about Juve. I said that about Juve. If you see my previous video, I didn't even really make much of a case for Porto. And they've sort of surpassed everyone's expectations. And looking at the sort of reactions from Porto ahead of this tie, they really fancy themselves and the way that they played, they were quite convincing. I know the last sort of couple minutes in extra time against Juve were a little bit sketchy, but they really fancied themselves. They looked really, really good in defence. With experience like Pepe in there in defence, you always fancy yourselves, and they've got some real talent in their team going forward as well. They caused a lot of problems in the first leg against Juve. And against Chelsea, I know Chelsea have been really good defensively. They did really well against Atletico Madrid. Another one in my predictions that I got wrong a couple of weeks ago if you watched that video. But yeah, no, I think Chelsea are going to really struggle to break down this Porto side. They look really, really good. Sort of in the sort of previous round, and I think that they're gonna sort of stand strong. They're gonna look at that side of the draw. If they make it through, they'll be playing either Liverpool or Real Madrid, and I think they're gonna look at that and think they've got a really, really good chance, not just of making it to the semi-final, but also to the final. So in this one, straight off the bat, I'm going to cause a shock, and I'm actually going to say that Porto are going to make it to the semi-finals this season and knock out Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel. His defensive record this season's been amazing for Chelsea, but I think it's going to sort of come to an embarrassing end. I say embarrassing. Obviously, Porto are a really good team, but everyone expecting Chelsea to go through, I think the pressure's going to sort of weigh up too much for them. And as I just mentioned, if Porto do go through or Chelsea, they'll be playing either Liverpool or Real Madrid. Now, this is going to be a classic tie. The two played each other in the Champions League final in 2018. Karius had a sort of night to forget on that day. He won't be involved in this, and Liverpool will look at it and be a lot more positive about this game. And I actually fancy Liverpool in this game. I think in the Champions League they've been a lot stronger than in the Premier League. They were looking very good against Leipzig in the last round. Again, another one that I just got wrong. I fancy Leipzig to beat Liverpool in that, but Liverpool looked really good. They looked confident both home and away. I say that I think because both games were played in Hungary. But Liverpool, I fancy them in this. I think Real Madrid have lost a lot of the firepower of previous years, mostly because of Ronaldo. But they've looked sort of a shadow of their past selves in the Champions League. They narrowly, on the last game of the group stage, they narrowly got through in that. And they didn't look particularly convincing against a 10-man Atalanta as well. And because of the way that they've been playing, I think it's about time that the likes of Salah, Mane, Firmino, these really good players, I think they're going to cause a lot of problems for Real Madrid. I think where they've maybe got a little bit fortunate in the last couple of rounds. I think that they're going to be made to pay here. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think Liverpool will walk away with it, but I do fancy Liverpool to make it to the semi-final, and I'm going to do a little bit of review later on of Porto against Liverpool, as that's what I predict that semi-final to be. And now on the other side of the Champions League quarter-final draw, this is where it gets juicy because you're starting off straight away with PSG against Bayern Munich. Now this was the 2020 Champions League final, and really, I fancy Bayern Munich again. I know that is kind of a bit of a cop out as they did beat PSG in the final last year 1-0. but I do fancy them to go on and beat PSG. I know that Neymar is looking likely to be back for this tie, but Bayern Munich are so strong defensively. They were just convincing against Lazio. I know Lazio aren't the sort of strongest of teams to be looking at here, whereas PSG were so strong. As I did predict, I'm quite happy about that one. So I do get a brownie point there, but PSG just sort of steamrolled Barcelona in the first leg, but Barcelona really should have made PSG pay. They had so many chances in the second leg, but they didn't make PSG pay. And that's where I think this will come quite crucial because Bayern Munich have so many stars, players like Lewandowski, Sane, who's not been that great this season, but he's starting to improve steadily. They've got Gnabry as well. And alright, guys, well, this is what happens when you record a video a week before you want to release it. Something like this happens and it completely ruins the entire point you make. Lewandowski is now going to be out for 4 weeks and will miss both legs of the tie against PSG. A big L for Bayern Munich. Not a good one. Their talisman, the main goal scorer for him, is going to be out. I think more for stubbornness, I'm still going to say that Bayern Munich are going to win. I think that even when Lewandowski hasn't performed to his best this season, on the odd occasion when he hasn't, they've still got the players to make up for it and get the win as and where they need. And you've heard it here first, but PSG is still going to get knocked out by Bayern Munich. And they've got quite a lot of firepower going forward, and that's where I think PSG's defence is really going to be questioned. I don't think their defence is as good as maybe what they've got a little bit of credit for this season, and I think Bayern Munich are going to make them pay here. I don't, again, like the Real Madrid Liverpool game, I don't think it's going to be one-sided, but I think Bayern Munich are just about going to edge this one out, and I think PSG are going to be slightly disappointed here, and they're going to hate Bayern Munich for knocking them out in 2021 and in 2020. But PSG aren't going to get anywhere near this title, according to my opinions, this season. And lastly, looking to meet, well, according to my opinions anyway, looking to meet Bayern Munich will either be Manchester City or Borussia Dortmund. So this is going to be the sort of return of Jadon Sancho, obviously growing up and playing in the academy of Man City before deciding to leave to play for Dortmund. And yeah, I think like they did against Mönchengladbach, I think this is going to be quite a comfortable one for Man City. Obviously, don't underestimate Erling Haaland, who's been incredible for them this season and was instrumental in getting them past Sevilla in the last round. I think he's going to cause some problems. I think he's going to cause issues for the defence of Man City, but I don't think he's going to rustle the feathers that much. I think Ruben Diaz and John Stones, those two have been phenomenal this season in the Premier League. And the way that they dispatched Borussia Mönchengladbach, I think they're going to go and knock out another German team this season. I think they've got so much firepower going forward that defensively, as we all know, Borussia Dortmund aren't good enough defensively. I think if they had a stronger defence, then they would obviously have a much better chance of knocking out Man City. But I think that Man City's defence is too strong and their attack is just going to cause too many problems. Just going to run riot for Borussia Dortmund this season, and I think it's going to be the sort of Pep Guardiola derby in the semi-final of Bayern Munich and Man City. And now the first potential semi-final, according to my opinions, will be Liverpool against Porto. Now I think Liverpool are going to be up for this. I know that they're going to be ready, having, in my opinion, as I say, beating Real Madrid. I think they're going to go into this full of confidence. I think they're going to provide something a little bit different, a little bit more direct than what Chelsea would bring. And this is why I'm going to predict that Liverpool are going to knock out Porto. Now, Porto, in my opinion, are going to join the likes of Ajax and Lyon in previous years, being the underdogs for the semi-finals. It's always nice to see an underdog at this point. Obviously, hoping as a neutral at this point that they would make it to the final and go on to win the Champions League. But I think Liverpool are going to be extremely direct. I think they're going to cause a lot of problems. I think previously with Juventus and Chelsea, I think they're going to really make Pepe look good for what he is. But I think Liverpool are going to look to stretch him. They're going to stretch the defence. I think Chancel Mbemba is also a defender at Porto as well. And I think Liverpool are going to try and exploit some of their defensive mishaps. I think, like I say, they're going to stretch the pitch. I think the pace of Mane and Salah is going to cause a lot of problems for Porto. And I think Juventus showed that you can get in behind this Porto side. It's just about being clinical and making the most of your chances. And I think here Liverpool are going to bring an end to the love story of Porto. having an incredible group stage, knocking out Juventus. In my opinion, they'll knock out Chelsea as well. But I think their run ends here at the semi-final stage, and it'll be Liverpool who advance to the Champions League final. And joining Liverpool in my Champions League final this season will either be Manchester City or Bayern Munich. Now, this could go horribly wrong. I could look back on this in a couple of months' time when the final's being played and think, it could be Chelsea and PSG per se in the final, and I've just got everything wrong. I wouldn't be surprised at this point, but no, I'm thinking Man City, Bayern Munich. I think those two will be playing in the semi-final, and here I'm going to predict that Liverpool will be playing against Bayern Munich. I think the sort of Pep Guardiola derby is going to go in favour of Bayern Munich. They've just got so much firepower. I know that we say it about Man City, but I think Man City they've had a bit of a curse in the Champions League. Obviously, never got past the semi-final. More often not getting knocked out in the quarterfinals. And I think really we're going to see them sort of crack under pressure again. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but Bayern Munich are just a well-oiled, well-drilled team. They've just got so many stars, all the way from Neuer in defence to Lewandowski up front. They've got so many good players. I think they're a little bit weak in defence, and that's where Man City could look to exploit them. And again, I'm saying this all, sort of before it happens, but I think again it's going to be another really close and exciting, unmissable game if this is the semi-final. But yeah, my prediction for this, looking at the way the draw's been made, I think Liverpool are going to be playing Bayern Munich in the final of the Champions League this season. And with that, obviously, we then come to the final, Liverpool against Bayern Munich. And now I think everyone remembers a few years ago when Liverpool went on to win the Champions League. They knocked out Bayern Munich in the round of 16. An amazing goal by Mane is something that I'll always remember. That beautiful long ball over the top from Virgil van Dijk. Little Cruyff turn by Mane, dinks the goalkeeper. Sensational goal. Probably one of the best goals I've seen in the Champions League for a while. It's definitely up there. I don't know if it's the best now that I'm saying that, but yeah, definitely a really good moment between those two teams. Now it's going to be a close one if that is the final, but I think again you can't back away from Bayern Munich there. Bayern Munich are just far and away better, I think, than a lot of teams in the Champions League, and I think with Liverpool missing some of these key players, I think they'll be fine without these key players going into Real Madrid and potentially Porto if that is what happens. But likes of Gomez and Van Dijk, they will be missed in this game against Bayern Munich, and I think, as I say, they'll be fine sort of coming up to the final. But I think the final is where it's going to hurt them. Like I say, the players like Lewandowski, Gnabry, Sane, these sort of players, they're just going to hurt them. I think defensively they're not as strong as what they are usually, and I think they'll be fine, as I say, getting to the final. But my prediction is that Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League for a second time in a row. And there you go, guys. Definitely a controversial opinion there. I know a lot of people will definitely disagree with what I've said there. But yeah, as I say, Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League according to my predictions here. Be sure to let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree. Where along the way have I got it wrong? Of course, as I say, yeah, put a message down below. Let me know. Follow my Twitter as well so we can have discussions on there. But yeah, I really can't wait for the Champions League to kickstart again and get into the quarterfinals, semi-final, and final. So as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But until next week, peace out.